China's property market is in the midst of a slow-moving crisis. Here's why. A little over a year ago, a relatively unknown Chinese real estate developer announced that its $300 billion in eye-popping debts were under tremendous pressure and that it might not be able to pay back any of them. That business, China Evergrande Group, is now all too well recognized as the face of the nation's economic problems. Since Evergrande's warning, house prices in China have decreased every single year. As a result, the government of Xi Jinping is now preparing to pour billions of dollars into a real estate market that analysts say is fast resembling a massive Ponzi scheme. How has all of this influenced one of the world's most powerful economies, and in what way does it concern you? Watch this video to find out. In China, real estate makes up over 70% of individual wealth, and property buyers frequently make upfront payments for unfinished projects. The pre-sale system, a typical method of purchasing real estate in China, allowed these properties to be sold before they were ever constructed. In the pre-sale scheme, buyers made deposits into an account before the building of the house. Chinese banks and regional governments are then required to keep an eye on how developers use this cash, and this entire system of money is not expected to be available to developers until after they have completed a number of previously agreed-upon construction milestones. However, a large number of young and middle-class Chinese are no longer investing in real estate, most likely as a result of a failing economy, job losses, salary cuts, and, more recently, the worry that developers may not finish projects. Due to the China Evergrande Group's delayed housing projects, which affected the trust of thousands of home buyers, the country is currently experiencing a mortgage crisis. In Jingdezhen City, Jiangxi Province, a group of home buyers in the Evergrande development first started a mortgage strike earlier this year. Since then, there have been widespread protests in more than 90 cities, and people have boycotted their mortgage payments. All of these demonstrators have one thing in common: they have been making monthly mortgage payments on houses they have never lived in, frequently at a rate of 5 to 6%. And these strikes are being caused by a common conviction among the demonstrators that money paid in advance to the developers of these real estate projects was misappropriated. According to informal surveys, there are now already more than 300 groups of homeowners who are allegedly refusing to repay home loans worth between $150 billion and $370 billion. In an effort to contain the outrage, the Chinese government began keeping an eye on protests, policing people, and closing internet forums where people expressed their unfiltered opinions about the housing crisis. Also, China's central bank, the People's Bank of China (PBOC), has reduced the 5-year loan prime rate (LPR) by the most it has ever done. It's believed that the 5-year LPR, which was reduced by 1.5 percentage points to roughly 4.2%, will lower the cost of housing mortgage repayments across China. But as authorities work to control unmanageable debt and market speculation, real estate values have fallen. And as developers fail to finish housing developments on time, hundreds of thousands of home buyers still continue to refuse to pay their mortgages on residences they have already been sold. It is unclear how this crisis would affect the People's Republic of China's $56 trillion banking system. However, S&P Global Ratings estimates that 6.4% of all mortgages, or around $356 billion or 2.4 trillion yuan, are at risk. On the other hand, Deutsche Bank AG issued a warning that at least 7% of mortgages face a risk of default. With property making up between 15 to 30% of China's GDP, the world's second-largest economy, as well as potential worldwide growth, could be in danger as a result of the market's problems. So what happens next? Analysts believe the reported bailout of $148 billion provided by the Chinese government may not be enough. According to Capital Economics, businesses require about $444 billion to finish projects that have been put on hold. Furthermore, it's unclear whether banks, particularly smaller ones in rural areas, will be able to endure the burden of the mortgage strike. Also, even if development picks back up, many developers might not make it since people have already lost confidence in the sector. In fact, according to China Real Estate Information Corp, sales in China's top 100 developers already fell by 39.7% in July compared to the same month last year. This crisis is the strongest indication yet that China's economy is nearing a critical point. If you want to watch more amazing videos about world economies, we suggest you subscribe to our channel and check out our videos. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.